Welcome back to the Box Center. I'm your host, Eric Steadfast, joined by West Virginia head coach Bob Huggins. Huggy Bear, how in the world are you going to pull off this upset against Kentucky?
They're not.
Seriously?
Oh, come on, you guys are a fluke, a flash in the pan.
Are we talking about West Virginia or your illustrious career in the USBL?
Hey, I led the USBL in assists that year. We're talking about your overachieving team and how you're going to lose to Kentucky.
Oh, we all can't be the best like you, Doug. A league championship in the Russian Basketball Federation. Oh, my apologies, Doug. Oh, damn it, Doug.
You're such a mean person. You meanie beanie.
Hey. My TV here.
He started it.
He always does this.
What, beat up on wussies?
No, that's it. No,
That's my TV. I'll do this.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. More NFL talk kicked off the show today as the new safety rules were being announced. Paulie, you and McLovin had a pretty heated debate of whether a Cam Chancellor's hit on Julian Edelman should have taken Edelman out of the Super Bowl. Is that debate settled between you two?
Not really. McLovin and I are not really guys who back off our opinion. If either of us think we're losing an argument, we'll find another way to win if we have to, whether it be going personal or coming up with a completely different argument that you can move on to. We're not really, I don't pick a lot of arguments, but we were going toe-to-toe for a while on that one.
But there's not really a winner on these arguments. They're matters of opinion. I know you
can certainly win, though, and make your opinion seem the strongest.
Right.
Thereby win the argument.
No. You win the argument because Dan always wins every argument because at a certain point you're just going to back down and walk away.
Well, like you remember debate in college, debate classes or debate things. No one wins you win it. You win a debate, and it's because you've made a more thorough argument or a better argument or more well thought out.
Yeah, but how do you decide? Right. So how do you?
You're
decide
not deciding whether the topic is right or wrong. You're deciding whether the person put forth a better argument.
Who's deciding?
The people around you.
Public at large.
Like if someone has said, who got the best of that, you'd say, who got the best of that?
Yeah, but the way it works in reality is, though, there's no real winner or loser in these arguments. Like, Dan's going to win every argument because Dan will always get back to the...
But it's not like you have like an impartial jury of people here. I have an opinion on what I think happened, just like Todd, I would imagine, has an opinion on it. So you're going to say, like, oh, if I agree with you, well, you put forward the best argument, or if I agree with Andrew.
Or if you like Paulie, if you're a Twitter follower who likes Paulie more than you like me, or vice versa. I just don't think
you can get 50 tweets agreeing with you, but there's 200 people that may agree with Paulie that just didn't take the time to tweet or anything.
You know who the angriest fans are? The Cowboys fans. They're like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. To you, probably. To me.
Actually, the most heat I've gotten in the past 6 months is when I say the Dez Bryant catch was a catch, and I got Green Bay Packers fans saying, "Oh, typical Bears fans taking anybody but the Green Bay Packers." I like the Packers way more than I like the Cowboys, but I was just saying, like, I'm trying to remove the teams, remove the teams and see what your opinion is. Because I bet if Jordy Nelson did it, Packers fans wouldn't be quite
Of course,
as loud.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no real winning. That's exactly my point. There's no real winning argument. Everyone brings so much subjectivity to the judgment.
That being said, today I thought I won.
You're right.
All right, no winner at this point. That debate whether Dez Bryant made that catch versus the Packers, of course, still wages on. And you had the NFL's VP of officiating on, Dean Blandino, and he explained why it is still not a catch.
It's not unreasonable to think that he did those things, but I think the football move does not trump him going to the ground and the requirement to hold on to the football, and that's really the good part about this rule is that it allows it to be officiated consistently and reviewed in replay consistently, because you're not nitpicking. Well, how long did he have it? Did he make a football move? Was that reach? Was that really a football move? Which can become nebulous. It's pretty concrete. If you're going to the ground and you're not a runner before you go to the ground, you have to hold on to the ball until after you hit the ground. And that allows our officials and us in replay to be more consistent. That's the thought of the committee and us in officiating.
See, what I didn't understand is, did you and Dan understand what Blandino was saying the whole time and just disagree with him? I thought at a certain point there was some misunderstanding of what the rule was.
I couldn't follow what he was saying enough to be persuaded. I appreciate what he was trying
What do you mean
to
you
do.
couldn't follow? What was there not to follow?
It's just
I
was confused by it.
I actually followed it completely. I think he's wrong. I think he's an administrator or a lawyer adjudicating athletics. He has. You could tell with the naked eye when someone catches something, and I could put in any rule that changes what happened in something. If I could say put in a rule that says, well, you need this, 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 and it also takes the physical act out. It's nuts to me because you'd think the NFL would want more offense, more spectacular catches to count, and they're actually putting a rule in and reinforcing a rule that will keep great plays like this from happening.
But the thing is, it's a matter of opinion. Your opinion is that he completed the catch. Dean Blandino's opinion is he did not complete the catch. You guys are both looking at the same thing. It doesn't matter what the rule is. It's just a different opinion on it's the same rule. But at certain points, I felt like we were getting away from the rule. Like we were talking about something completely different. Like Todd said, you don't understand what he's talking about.
No, because then you have to look like you're a runner, but then what's next? You have to run a certain number of feet, or you have to have gone forward at least a half a yard, or if you don't run at least a yard after you catch it, you didn't really have it. You could just keep adding to it endlessly. It's just, I don't know, it's silly to me. But part of it is because I don't agree
It's really hard to define physicality. What one person thinks is stumbling is a great athlete keeping his balance because he's so talented and can do things the right way. I could make that argument either way. So just because this guy says it, just because he has a suit and works in the NFL, doesn't mean what happened didn't happen.
Coming up, we are not going to talk football anymore and bobbling. We're going to talk some baseball. It's spring after all. This is the box score, and it is powered by the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. Every truck can tow a boat, every truck can climb a hill, every truck can haul a trailer. But not everybody has the most fuel-efficient half-ton truck on the road. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram.
If he's not on the opening day roster, it's because of what?
Well, I would probably say the opiate of player control.
Explain.
And that is where they would often teams manipulate the allowed rules and keep him down in the minor leagues for a small period of time and then call him back up, and it gives them another year of control.
We are back here on the box score. A sports agent, Scott Boras, broke down what he thinks might keep off Cubs prospect Kris Bryant off the opening day roster. Paulie, as a Cubs fan, how'd you take it if the Cubs held back Bryant for a mere 2 weeks just to save some dough?
Well, it depends. It depends if the manager of the Cubs wants to start him opening day and management overrules him and says, no, we have to hold him 2 more weeks. In the grand scheme of things, the odds are it won't affect the season in any way, but it's possible. And again, I think Dan said it's more about, as a Cub fan, the Cubs have never done everything there is to do to win. They've been very passive and relied on their lovable image to fill the stands. Well, those days seem to be over by hiring certain players and hiring some managers. There's lots of ways to save money. In long term, it's a great business decision. That being said, if they overrule the manager, if it comes out that way, I think that's pretty petty.
I didn't see this as saving money. It's really more buying time.
Buying time, yes. It's,
I mean, eventually they're either going to spend the money in 6 years or in 7 years. So why wouldn't we get them for the 7 years?
Right.
Right. So it's really more buying time than being cheap.
It's also assuming, is he healthy? Is he going to live up to expectations over these several years? You know, that you don't even know. They're so worried about something several years down the road, which may or may not even. He may not, be the next Babe Ruth over the next several years.
He's probably going to be an average player this season. Like Jason Hayward hit like 270 with 15 homers. He wasn't an all-star. He was like a good player when they brought him up.
Sure seems like this guy's going to rake, though, based on the spring.
I guess if you look in comparison what other Cubs players have done in the past 5 years, fifth place, keeping someone down who's actually playing well seems like a classic.
But to me, I feel like, you look at the best teams in sports, like the Spurs, the Patriots would keep him down. Like, it seems almost competitively negligent.
The Patriots have the rings that they can do what they want and use their strategies they want. And it's probably a better decision in every way to keep this kid down. I'm only saying, let's say the manager said, I want this guy up because his competition for the third base spot is hitting 267 with 2 home runs. That's not a good player.
Yeah, but the manager's just, if he says that, he's just thinking about this season. He cares about the short term. The fan, I think, would vote to keep him down so we get him for another year. I think like 95%.
I don't even think the manager knows
Yeah.
what kind of team they have yet in the first 10 games.
The manager
they
might
have no idea
Yeah, I'm only saying that if he's overruled by the business side, saying, I want to start this kid opening day because he's the best guy we got, I want to get him right into the mix. If he's overruled for a business decision, it just shows that the Cubs are, again, maybe smart. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and they're just being very, very smart, and 2 weeks won't make a difference. But Jason Hayward playing for the team, being second Rookie of the Year, did it help them at all when they brought him up a little? Maybe they made the playoffs by 1 game with the Braves.
Well, one man who's not afraid to play talent is Dodgers skipper Don Mattingly, and he talked about a situation on his team that is similar to what the Cubs are dealing with.
I don't think it's necessarily the manager's call. I think you have discussions about a player and your evaluation of him. What I've heard, from their standpoint, is it's going to be development too. We kind of have a similar situation close to it in the kid named Corey Seager. This kid can flat out play. We feel like he could probably play right now if you ask the baseball people, but there is still some development there that they want to finish off, and that's really important too, that you don't get them to come up and down, because then you could cost yourself 1.5 years, 2 years if you kind of get him up here too quick. Yeah. It goes bad, then you got to, kind of building back up.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of people who know baseball way better than I do, but I've just always sort of been like, spring training numbers don't really mean anything, and it's great that this kid is raking, but he's like a pup, he's never even faced a real major league pitcher in an actual game situation that matters. And I don't really think that a season hangs on 10 games at the beginning of the season. No, we won't even really pay attention to baseball until maybe the All-Star break. This is by far the earliest we've talked about a real baseball story this early in the season in years.
Non-steroid.
By the way, as a producer, here's what could take away my Cub fandomness. Here's the best way this story could work out. They don't bring him up for 2 weeks. They leave him in to do that extra year situation, and the Cubs miss the playoffs by 1 game. Because then you could put that story again at the end of the season. Now, I'd be heartbroken as a Cub fan, but as a producer, that's exactly what I want.
So you would, now, interesting, let's take this to the bracket tournament.
I hear you saying.
So you would root for the Cubs to not make the playoffs so that then you have a better story for the show.
No, because the better story would be the Cubs making the playoffs. Would be better. A good story would be the Cubs missing the playoffs by 1 and the Kris Bryant
But you always
story.
skew negative, I thought. I thought it was always skew negative. Negative stories are always
also,
better.
Paul,
now all of a sudden it's switching around a little bit.
But the Cubs have been negative.
You're tempted by this 1 game out.
You also like the roller coaster story. You don't like flatline. The Cubs have been here for over a century. Now you need more here.
All of a sudden the Cubs are going to be a good team. I love it.
Part of the mystique and the love of the lovable losers is, don't you? Isn't there a little part of you? I know you want the Cubs to win, but there's an argument to be made that it's a better story that they continue to be the lovable losers. Once they win, you lose that 100-year
storyline.
Now nobody cares.
Is this the year? Is this the year? And then
just
it's
like
gone.
the Red Sox. Nobody
See,
cares.
and you should be rooting for this guy to come up immediately so he can get to the Bronx quicker. He's there's no way. Have you seen his spring training time? He's a Yankee if I've ever seen one.
Well, that's why it's really about, are they going to give him, $500 million in 6 years or 7 years? That's really what I'm looking at. I'm trying to get that pushed back to 7 so I don't have to really worry
you want
about
to save
that.
the
I just
money?
want it to be later.
A big third base with no glove could hit like hell and has Boris as an agent. That's a Yankee.
He's got Yankee written all
Yeah, by the
over
way,
him.
when I heard no position, I was thinking, oh, this guy sounds like an American leaguer. That kept running through my mind. I'm like, where is this guy going to play?
Cubs should trade him now for a series of various minor league A players.
All right, stick around. It is time for Know Your Row next. We are back here on the box score. Kevin Love on Monday's show talked about taking Russell Westbrook over LeBron James for MVP this season. Fritzy, if I was to ask you today, who would you have for MVD? Would it be McLovin or Seton?
Ooh, I'm going to say Seton just because it all starts and ends with Seton in a variety of ways. McLovin contributes in a lot of ways, but when you think about all the technical things involved, and I really got a closer look, even though I didn't learn anything from it other than just how crazy it got just from day one of the Dan Patrick Show when we were in the attic and seeing that, if the stations can't hear us, if we can't broadcast, that alone, we're all wasting our time. We can have the greatest guests, content, rundown, and everything else that goes with putting a show together. But if it doesn't get broadcast or there's any type of technical technical issues where you're not seeing and hearing things, then it's all a waste of time. So there you go. So I'd go to Seton O'Connor.
Interesting response there. It might cause some dissension or some pain in the back row because we asked you guys who your favorite hoops player were of all time. Let's see what the guys said in this edition of.
Was it funny or was it?
No! Your row!
Let's start with the front row.
If nothing else, forget about all the other things.
Yes,
that alone
Seton,
Hey, Brock, real quick, before the game starts,
yes.
The Danettes were wondering when you said who's the MVD of the show, the choices were him and him.
The Danettes were wondering. I mean, mainly one Danette was wondering.
I'm just curious.
Specifically,
I don't
actually.
mind. I'm just curious why those options were given.
Well, the producers wanted me to ask that way, so it was asked that way.
Oh, there, well thought out.
That's what you call passing the buck. All right.
There you go.
Seton, who's Paulie's favorite basketball player, pro basketball player of all time?
Got to be Larry Bird, no question.
It's no question. Is it Larry Bird?
This is a tough one because I really like Larry Bird a lot, but Michael Jordan, it's not even really that close. It's almost everyone else is fighting for second.
No way. No, you just lied.
This is a tough one because Michael Jordan is the greatest athlete I've ever seen.
It wasn't asked who's the greatest basketball player. It's Paul's favorite basketball
I think you can't
player.
even vote in the city of Chicago if you don't think that Michael Jordan's the greatest athlete.
No, but
I mean, like, you
I don't
gotta
care
think
about the
Jordan.
I love Larry Bird
We
because
love Jordan,
I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, I think he blows me away. It's like idolatry almost. Like what I saw from him on night to night living in Chicago was nuts. I enjoy Larry Bird because I think he's kind of an anomaly, but Jordan's my favorite.
To the back row, McLovin, who did Fritzy say was the baddest dude on the court?
This is very hard. Because
I don't
Fritzy,
even remember what I said.
Fritzy has been identified in the New York Post as a long
What's
time
his son's
Knicks
first
fan.
name?
Jordan.
But that could throw you off, though.
But I would just say a Nick, like a Dave DeBusschere, or like a
Big John Starks
Clyde
guy.
Frazier.
There were a couple old Knicks that I really liked. I'm
Oh,
not going to say anymore.
man. This is but now that's implying it's not a Nick. Well, thank you for that hint there. I'm gonna say that it is longtime Phoenix Sun Cedric Ceballos.
Wow. Is it longtime son Cedric Ceballos?
Favorite basketball player? You know what? I'm going to say Bob McAdoo, former New York Knick. But I did like Bernard King as well. But I'm going to go Bob McAdoo. Him and Bernard King.
I can't believe it.
When I was a little kid,
Bob McAdoo's favorite players are Bob McAdoo.
I went to a sporting goods store when I was a little kid, Herman's or whatever it was in.
Herman's. I loved Herman's.
And my first basketball had the, where they had the fake signatures on balls, which I don't know if they do as much anymore. But it was Bob McAdoo, and then I was watching the Knicks, and I had been to games with my dad as a kid, and I had his basketball card.
Have you ever mentioned him once in the years
I don't think
we've
I
been
ever
together?
have.
Never, not once in a
because
million
the
years.
first ball
I think he was on the
was-
Knicks for like a day.
I'm telling you, Bob McAdoo followed by Bernard King. Bob McAdoo, I had the signed ball. I wish I still had the ball because I just. I
You
thought
saved
it
the
was
weight
great.
belt, but not the Bob McAdoo autographed ball.
I'm very ashamed that I didn't save that ball because I would take it everywhere and
How
it said
dare
Bob
you,
McAdoo,
Todd.
on it, and I didn't even
How
know who he
dare
was
you.
when I got that as like a Hanukkah gift. But then I started trying to find out who Bob McAdoo was, and Bobby McAdoo. There you
McAdoo.
go.
Sounds Irish. One more for the front row. Paulie, who's Seton's favorite hoop star?
Andrew Gaze from Seton.
Oh,
What?
Andrew Gay? Is that what? Okay. Is it Andrew Gay?
I don't know.
Andrew Gay.
Gotta be Michael Jordan, right?
I stand by my answer too.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna start breaking down Seton Hall legends, of course, I'm gonna go Terry DeHare, maybe Brian Caver,
What about
right?
Vince
Jerry
Carter?
Walker.
John Morton was a.
John Morton, absolutely, man.
What about Vince Carter? He didn't get a.
Oh yeah, Vince Carter, yeah.
My initial
I like
guess
him
was
too.
going to be Patrick Ewing, but I wasn't sure the age.
Well, no, okay, hold on.
Seton Hall.
I didn't like, the Seton Hall thing. I'd be like, Patrick Ewing, screw
Well,
that.
you like the Knicks? Patrick.
Yeah, no, but I like Patrick Ewing, the guy now, especially the guest Patrick Ewing. He's rad.
I may not have gotten it right, but I got respect. For
Yeah, you know what?
Andrew
Actually,
Gaze.
I didn't even get it right either. Andrew did, so he should get a point. Vince Carter is my favorite basketball player.
All right, last one is for the back row. Fritzy, this is for the win. Who does McLovin think has the most game?
I was initially going to say Barkley because I'm thinking Philly roots and 76ers, and he stole something from his car, which he never got enough trouble for. But even bigger than Barkley, I am going to stick with the Sixers and say Dr. J. Julius Erving would be McLovin's favorite
Dr.
all-time
J.
My favorite basketball player of all time is Julius Erving. Dave Zinkoff, PA announcer, Sixers.
Fritzy.
Are you surprised? I got one
Dude,
right?
we are on fire right now.
Crazy?
We're dominating.
Have you ever met Dr. J before?
No, I don't think I have. We walked by him in the airport.
Remember we saw him in the airport?
that was amazing in the
Why did you walk up to him in the
airport.
airport?
That was pretty cool.
He
was getting hounded. He had
was.
people. He couldn't go 5 feet without somebody stopping him.
Well, back up and hug each other because you guys won Know Your Road today. Stick around. The guys are going to strike a pose.
1 in 68 on
Blue Steel, this is the box score, and we are going to take a break and remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty, with its best-in-class towing, torque, and horsepower, doesn't need one. Guts, glory, Ram.
I think we should do a calendar next year. Like the Dan Patrick Show calendar.
We should do 2 months, and then you have 2 group shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Like just the different shots throughout the year that we've done.
I call October. I mean, you gotta give me October.
Oh,
No,
you're
we're gonna
Mr.
put the
Autumnal.
months- No, we
Yeah.
put the months in a hat.
We got
And
like
then you draw
pose.
Paulie.
That's not fair.
We're closing up shop here on the box score. Dan came up with a great idea, a Danette calendar. Let's start with you, Seton, and then go around the horn. What month do you want to be the face of?
July, definitely.
Paulie?
For 2 reasons.
Okay.
One, that's the month of my birthday. It's also the month of Andrew Perloff's birthday. So I'm sort
You're
of
trying to box me out of July.
I just got boxed you out of
Fair
your
enough.
birthday month.
I would like the entirety of fall if possible, but that seems a little aggressive. It's
ambitious.
It is. I'm going to go October. I love September and November as well, but October is perfection. Sports-wise, weather-wise, coloring, autumnal. You could wear a sweater at night. You could wear a T-shirt, a zippy during the day.
Zippy during the day.
I dream that heaven
Cute.
is an ongoing tailgate in the middle of October. The game never starts.
McLovin?
I go to February because it's our Super Bowl month. And there's always like lots of cool pictures in February. Like
most of
we're
the
always
shows
wearing-
here are usually at the end of January.
spoiled
The Super Bowl itself is like in February. But if we look back on the past several years, I don't know if we've done very few shows that actually fell out on February.
Take that.
What a buzz.
That's great, Todd.
And February is
Well
also
done.
like the most boring month of the sports season.
You wanted February, didn't you?
I actually wanted June because
February.
it's right in the middle of the year, and I like to be the center of attention sometimes. So I figure.
Oh,
and because I don't.
You're the cleanup hitter.
You would have never
June?
picked January or December.
October actually is the one that I would take because I was born in
take it.
October, and October's
Same day as Brett
Same day as Brett Favre, same year as well.
I'll spare the. But because
10,
I'm always
10, 10.
because I'm always in the middle of the road, and I don't take a strong opinion either way. It would make sense for me to be somewhere in the middle, and I guess June would.
I think we've.
be the
You decisively picked June.
I am going to go with December because it's my birthday month. Go Capricorns. How about this? How about we take a look at what we might think the let's look at the calendar here. What we think the Danette calendar will look like. Let's start off with Fritzy here. Maybe in February, laying down there with Chrissy Teigen and looking extra sexy.
Oh,
That's great. That's
Maybe,
great. Some for the guys, some for the girls.
Cannot argue with that.
That is
at all.
something special.
Then Fritzy in September. Is that our next one?
Lean on me.
There it is. Fritzy in September.
Oh,
That's great.
Almost
With
got
the
in a lot of
ASU
trouble down
cheerleaders.
at the T. Frizzle Super Bowl land.
That's also known as Exhibit A.
Underage fun.
Well, Arizona State college.
And
That was
Paulie,
470.
you got a little winter coat on here on the upper lip, but I think June would work for you.
Yeah, kind of a little
Yeah,
more for the guys, maybe more so for the girls. You know, construction site, hard hat.
Did you have to borrow that from a worker?
I sure did. I sure did.
Oh, I miss that button.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're heading out for Halloween, might as well do it Seton style in his tiger outfit
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shots of the ladies in the background.
Good times.
there. And, maybe not, maybe I don't get December. Maybe Paulie gets it because he is Mr. Christmas there with the tree. Lovely job there.
Yeah.
That screams the season. You know, some dopey guy grabbing a tree.
You
from-
love to pose next to trees. And look off into the. You get so excited to look off into the distance.
I have one of those from every year that I've been married.
And, of course, April Fool's Day requires maybe an April Fool. There's McLovin getting his glasses broken.
This thing's coming together well.
I didn't realize we were that far ahead with the calendar production.
Well, if you're looking for a cover for this, look no further. Let's go body paint and bring out the giant Smurf that was me back in the. Oh, here it is. Take it off. Take it all off.
Boom.
Oh my!
Look, it's going.
You're welcome, ladies.
There's your cover. Oh my goodness, so much sodium. All right, Fritzy, enough of this. Who is on tomorrow?
Hall of Famer, MLB Network analyst John Smoltz, Michigan State Spartan fan, will join us tomorrow.
John Smoltz.
John Smoltz, that's it tomorrow. And just Clark Kellogg on Friday of CBS.
That's funny because I thought he asked who's on tomorrow.
When
John Smoltz on?
If we don't have any guests, we only have one. I like to try to get it.
Maybe you can go to your
Smoltz
video
Thursday.
roster and start plucking from there.
Yeah, why don't you get on any celebrity that did a video for your son's thing?
Actually, we do have one on.
Oh, that's
who
right.
did one from the thing. So we've already hit that quota.
We don't have really enough time for that roster.
Based on who's done videos, we should be letting
I can assure you it'll be a topic tomorrow, Todd.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching The Box Score. We are back tomorrow on the Audience Channel 239 at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Audience. And the podcast is available on iTunes or podcast1.com.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!